Now, one thing that I've been telling people that you might find interesting, and I'll just start talking here, because I just signed up for Susan's email list as well. Now, if you have your own website and you have your own email associated with that website, and you might have noticed my email address is jadair@reifb.com, and that's a real estate site that I've got there. But here's something that I've explained to a couple of people that you might find interesting, and a nice way to kind of manage the emails that come into your come into your inbox. Because if you're like me and just about everybody else, you get a lot of emails. What I've got is this main email address of mine is a catch-all account, which means that the email is jadair@reifb.com, but if somebody puts in anything at reifb.com, it'll make it to my main account, and I'll actually see it. And so the reason I've put that together is so that I can create on the fly, just automatically, an email address for any situation, such as when I signed up for the B2B Sales Connections newsletter just a moment ago. I put in my email address as b2bsalesconnections@reifb.com, and that'll make it to my main inbox. But every time they send something out, they're sending it to that specific email address instead of my main email address. Not all ends up in the same place, but this makes it possible for me to do some interesting things. And I do this every time I sign up for an email list of some sort. I take the name of the web address, and I make that, and I put that at reifb.com. So whenever I get an email that comes in to me and I open it up, number one, I can take a look and see what address they sent it to. And so if it says, B2B Sales Connections at reifb.com, oh, I know where I inputted that email address and who's sending me that information. Now, the nice thing is if for some reason and I know Susan wouldn't do this, but I'll use it as an example. If she started sending me stuff that I wasn't interested in, or if somehow she sold my email address, the B2B Sales Connections at reifb.com, if she did something with that I didn't like, for any reason, what I can do is I can say, hey, any email that comes into that specific email address, just send it straight to the bulk folder. Send it to the spam thing. I don't want to even see them. Or if I really like what she's got, which is probably more likely the case, if I really like what she sends out to me, I can say, hey, all of these emails that she sends, put them in a special folder here that I take a look at, for things that I really want to see. And I can organize things that way. I can put little filters in place so that the right emails go to the right place, so that they're not all kind of jumbled up together. And so that's kind of one way that I've organized things in my email list so that I can keep track of who's sending me what. And if I want to do something specific, I can filter things by the email that people are sending them to that comes to me, as opposed to just having a huge inbox full of people sending all these emails to the same specific exact email address. Now, did that make sense? And do you have any questions on that?
That's brilliant.
Great idea.
Okay, explain that okay then?
Absolutely. That's the tip of the day. Those are the little things that make life easier, that makes a 24-hour a day a 25-hour a day.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah, I was really proud of myself when I came up with that one. And I've been using it for probably about a year now, and it's great.
In fact, I was going to say, can I quote you? Can I blog about that today and send a link to your website?
Oh, sure. In fact, what I've been meaning to do is put together a tutorial on it. And what I can do is I can go back and grab the audio for this and make that available if you wanted to post directly to it. But you're more than welcome to write up that idea and stick it on your site for sure.
Yeah, well, if not, that's going to be next month's in my newsletter. The tip, and I'll link to you.
Sure.
That's brilliant. That is excellent. Especially the ability. Today, everybody is just absolutely inundated with stuff that comes into their inbox, And a lot of good information gets lost, and a lot of bad information gets through. And the ability, an easy way like that, to be able to sort in your inbox and the different folders, it's brilliant.
And if you saw a screenshot, oh, go ahead.
I'm just curious as to, just very briefly, obviously, how you go about doing it. You got to deal with your mail server, or whoever's hosting the mail server?
Yeah, wherever you're having your email hosted at, you just call them up, and they can walk you through it typically. Or if you're familiar enough with your email service and you can log in and poke around a little bit, what you're looking for is something that says catch all. And
Great.
Typically, you just call them up and say, I'd like to make this account a catch-all account, and they can show you exactly how to do that.
And I use a catch-all because people tend to misspell email addresses. Like for us, we get candidates with 2 S's, and those are all applicants that I don't want to miss, but the catch-all makes sure that you get everything. You don't miss anybody, even if they misspell your email addresses as well.
Yeah, that's the original reason why they created those accounts, made it possible to do that. Now, one thing you will find, too, is that...
I was going to set up different accounts with different names and everything, but the catch-all makes that unnecessary.
Yeah. And you can have some fun with people, too, because when they call you up on the phone and they say, what's your email address? You can use their full name or something like that. I was talking with a guy on the phone, and he said, what's your email address? And I said, well, it's chrisrecord@reifb.com. He's like, that's my name. I said, yeah, it'll make it to me. And he just gets a kick out of it.
Yeah.
But, and the one thing that you will find, just a quick tip, is that a lot of people, when they're coming up with some kind of spam that they want to send you, they'll usually pick out a few key terms. They'll try sending an email to webmaster at your site, admin at your site, just these email addresses, because a lot of people have those set up so that they go to, people can say, oh, if they have a problem, call up support. They can email you at support@yourwebsite.com. And so there are some things that if you start getting spam to those specific addresses, which I do, then you just kind of turn those off. You send them straight to the spam folder. But just be aware that if you start getting things, that's something that spammers do in order to try and either find catch-all accounts or typical common email addresses that sites have. But if you could get a screenshot of my email inbox right now, you would see a whole bunch of emails and such, but you'd see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 folders on the left-hand side where I send various kinds of emails to. And then when I'm in the mood for, say, personal development, I've got a bunch of emails in there, I'll just open up that thing and I'll scroll down through them, find some interesting things, and start reading up or whatever. And it's a nice way to kind of segment things so that you've got things in more of a laid out and logical format. And one thing, for example, if I'm going through my email really quickly and I find people with questions that I don't want to answer them right then and there, what I can do is I can just send that email to a questions folder. I've got it just labeled questions. And I send it over there, and so I can go through my email really quickly. If it's a long question, it's going to take a little while to type out, I toss it in the folder. If it's really short, I'll reply. But those are some different ways that you can kind of deal with the massive amounts of email that you tend to accumulate over time. And just using different folders, different filters to send different emails to different places. And you can play around with that and see if there's something that works for you.